Now, we climbing a mountain today, y'all. What's the mountain? Well, the mountaintop is it's an analogy for being in love. Okay. Um, was having a nice conversation with a very attractive young lady this morning, and the topic came up. All right, the differences, between being in love and just loving somebody, right? And so, during the conversation, the Holy Spirit started talking to me about mountaintops. And I'm like, what's this mountaintop thing? So I started researching mountaintops, right? What does mountaintops have to do with being in love? And I found out that just like being in love, right? Being on a mountaintop is a temporary time frame. It's temporary. Um, Studies show that the most people usually spend on the mountaintop once they reach it is 15 minutes. Why is that? Because of the conditions that's up there. Very, very harsh. And when I say harsh, I just mean very intense conditions. The weather, the cold air, the sun is like extremely like beating you down. More importantly, the level of oxygen that's up there is like fainting. Like you can faint from how thin the oxygen is up there. So 15 minutes stops, you know what I'm saying? Then you gotta come on down, if you wanna continue to live. So, we talk about being in love, right? Ideally, you wanna be in love like the whole time you in a relationship with somebody. You wanna be in love. And though you may love that person, right, the whole time y'all together, being in love the whole time is really like it's impractical. It's not realistic to think that you could do so. Now, does it mean that you can't reach the mountaintop again because you just had to come down so you could be able to breathe and it's better conditions here, right? What you do on a day-to-day has nothing to do with what you can do or what you're doing on the mountaintop, right? People, we go through life and we end up in love over and over again. Like there's never, that's hardly, if you've only been in love once in your life, right? You ain't lived, right? Like life is to be in love. Like that's something to aspire to, right? That's like saying, you want to make $1 million before you die, right? And once you've done that, you know how to do it. So even if you go broke, you're not gonna say, okay, I've done it. Sure, I can die broke now. No, I want to die on top, right? On the top of the mountain. Now, I'm gonna go. I know how to do it. So now I'm gonna go ahead and get it. So the thing about returning over and over to being in love, returning back to the mountaintop over and over again, climbers end up having some type of they can end up having some type of disease, like brain damage, right? Certain parts of their brain are damaged because of the lack of oxygen and going, up on top of the mountains many times and staying as long as they've stayed, right? That damage has to do with the conditions and everything. Now, what happens is, what that lets me know about comparing the two is that, anybody that's been in love, right? One of the byproducts, or the, let's say, one of the byproducts or the telltale signs that you've been in love is actually the damage that you incur, right? That's the one thing that everybody who has been in love have in common. Damage. You know what I'm saying? Like, nobody gets in love, right? Nobody reaches the mountaintop or gets in love without some level of damage on that brain or some level of damage in your heart. You know what I'm saying? So I know we like to think of being in love like it's just all beautiful and it's all, no, there's a price to pay for that. However, once you've been there, then you know that it's worth it, right? I'm sure you can't. You can't. I'm sure nobody who's ever been to the mountaintop, on top of a mountain, Mount Everest, right, will tell you that it ain't worth it. Especially if they're somebody who have been back over and over again. Obviously, it's worth it. You know what I'm saying? But the interesting fact is that some of those people who have been like they've taken studies of some people, some of those climbers' brains, and even though the scans may show the damage on the brain, it said that the person, the damage, like the person doesn't show any damage outside of just the scan telling you that there's damage. Like their motor skills are still the same. They're still as astute or cognizant. Um, like they still move the same, talk the same, act the same. Um, no slurred speech or anything like mine. But it's crazy. You know what I'm saying? That you could endure something as intense as that, have the damage, have gone through, have the damage internally, right? But there's no proof on the outside. What is that? How do I compare that to people who have been in love? Well, some people, after being in love, you know, you're in love, you lose love. You're in love, you lose love. Some people they get bitter about that type of thing and they wear it on their sleeve, right? You can tell, right? They wear it on their sleeve. You can tell what they've been through. They talk about it all the time. They niggas ain't this, females ain't, you know, saying chicks ain't that, you know, and you can't trust them and blah 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 blah, right? They wear it on their sleeve. And some people don't. You know what I'm saying? Some people don't. But the common denominator, the thing that they all share in common is the damage. You ever been in love? You got damage to prove it. But you also have the experience. You also have the knowledge that you gained, right? Because now you know how to get back there. Now you know how to reach the top again. So, and you know it's worth it. And what's so sad about people who have never been in love, right? That means they've never risked anything. They've never risked it, right? Because you're risking your life climbing up there. And if you've never been in love, you just play safe. I was once there before. Play safe, you know what I'm saying? I'll tell y'all about that a whole nother time, you know what I'm saying? But you play it safe. And so you only stay like at the bottom of the mountain, like probably just a little bit over the valley. You know what I'm saying? And you play it safe, but in playing it safe, you don't gain anything. You don't learn nothing. No risk, no reward. And because these people reach the top, they took all the risk, then they get all the reward for that. You get all the reward. You learn people better. You learn relationship. You know, you have relationship education, relationship etiquette. You know how to be with somebody. You know how to love somebody. You know how that feels. You know how to embrace moments inside of a relationship that remind you of being in love. So you know what in love looks like. You know what it feels like. And so therefore you know how to basically create that again. And then if you're not creating it, then you know exactly what it looks like if you find yourself in it. You know what I'm saying? Because when we first fell in love, you remember it's like, what is this? I mean, I am acting. People telling you acting funny, and you like, nah, what you talking about, man? I don't know what you're talking about. You know what I'm saying? You feel in a certain way about the person when you see them, when you hear their voice, and you really don't know what that is. But once you've been to the top, you know exactly what that is. You know what that top look like, what it sound like, what it smell like. You know that. That's just like anything. The reason why I feel like in love, being in love is such a temporary condition, state, or time frame, is because anything that's that remarkable, anything that has that level, such a high level of bliss in it, it can only be temporary. A falling star, it burns out eventually, right? It ain't worth nothing if you control how long it lasts. Then it's not as remarkable, right? For y'all shoppers out there, ladies, them shoes, them shoes you wanted that bag, you know, and you find that thing. They only made 3 of them in the world. You know what I'm saying? That price finna be up there, mountaintop. You know what I'm saying? Because there's only a few of them. They only last, right? When they want to get you coming in that store buying things, right? They're gonna put that limited time only, limited edition, limited, right? It's a moon, Alice. Relationships are the nucleus of life. Without it, nothing else moves. Relationship 101. Love.